Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
This is So I'm Watching the Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. I wanted to record an intro because we're going to release some very old test footage of ours that was Riverdale. We covered season 1 and 2 of Riverdale, and because we have had so much fun with that show, for better and worse, and because it's been one of some of our most popular content, I was like, we've got this footage. It's not great. Like, our audio's bad. Yeah. We look different. There is no set. Yeah. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think the conversation is good. Mm-hmm. And I think it's worth releasing.
It's in my old dining room.
So yeah, we're definitely going to release season 2. And that's what this is. This is just a little intro for our Riverdale season 2 content. So you got to have options.
I see.
So please do enjoy.
Okay. Well, I'm singing Season of the Witch now.
Must be the season of the witch.
But yeah. I was going to be singing...
I want to sing Milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours.
Oh, yeah. I was going to be singing Archie's Got a Gun.
Oh. that's the best of the three.
So, I remember really liking this season, but having said that, the idea of returning to it and watching it all feels slightly daunting.
Only to certain storylines.
Sure, but it just sort of, well, like I said, it just feels slightly daunting. And then now that we're only in episode 2, but I was prepared. I was like, oh, this is going to drag. And I forgot how much does happen.
Balls to the wall, man.
It really, we did get to a lot of stuff.
So much
So
stuff.
this is Nighthawks.
I don't know why it's called that.
I forgot how extra they were this entire season with the concept of Riverdale being evil.
Yeah.
like poisoned. It's just like...
Yeah.
That dies down a little bit.
It does die down a little bit, but it's also like there's just so much stuff going on in this episode, and it sets up, like, you specifically were like, we need to start paying attention to these things because we
didn't pay attention to them the first time, and they stay relevant.
In season, 3 and 4, we were like, who owns Pops? And,
who's the mayor? This? Who's the sheriff? Who owns what buildings?
That stuff starts now, and all the lies from Hiram and Hermione start now, because at one point in this episode, Hiram is like, of course, Mija, I'm not purchasing the Pops chocolate shop. And then it's 3 minutes later, he's whispering and conspiring with Hermione, and he's like, we own the chocolate shop.
Well, because Veronica comes barging in, guns a-blazing.
As she is wont to do.
As she should. Hard-earned knowledge at this point.
Sure.
And he is so offended. And so, me?
Clutching Veronica's pearls.
Yeah. And it's so she... this begins a never-ending...
Ouroboros.
Yeah, there you go.
Of betrayal and acceptance and
so it's because we learned that she was right from the get-go to be suspicious and all that. And so as of now, Hiram is here. He has fired Smithers.
He's sent Smithers
Well,
away.
Smithers went to go take care of his mother overseas. And I was like, is she sleeping with the fishes?
Because I was going to be at first I remember thinking that they had killed Smithers. Smithers was dead, but he does eventually come back.
He does, but not enough.
Yeah,
it's once or twice, and it's brings justice for Smithers.
Yeah.
And then, I don't remember the letter. Was that last season? My eyes glaze over with Lodge.
It was at the end of last season.
So Hiram threatened.
In order to get Veronica to testify in his defense, he wrote the letter threatening Hermione, which then Hermione claimed that she did it, even though she definitely didn't do it.
And we'll get to this as it comes, but it is intriguing watching some of this establish, because I'm like, this dynamic between Hiram and Hermione is really, well, intriguing. I was like, I cannot wait to see it play out. And it doesn't really, not to any actual satisfying degree, but, we'll get there as we go.
She, didn't even have a line in that scene. He just talked at her, and she was, smiling beguilingly.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm trying to learn how to identify the plots, like A, B, C, and D plot. So I'm not entirely... I was able to identify the 4 plots, but I'm not sure which one's the A plot.
I think the A plot is saving Pops.
Saving Pops, okay.
The B plot is FP.
FP.
Yeah.
Okay. So... this whole thing is about them saving Pops because there was an armed robbery and then subsequent shooting, but that Fred survived.
Yeah.
And so the entire town has gone all in on this being the death diner.
Yeah. Spray painted on the side.
This cannot be the first time this 24-hour diner was...
This is when the citizens of Riverdale start being so extra every time something happens. Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
And so they're trying to save it, and... we like Pops a lot.
Yeah.
He stays a presence on the show, but never becomes a character. And it just gives me Uncle Remus vibes in this way that I'm like,
Remus?
Song of the South.
Oh.
And it's just, it's very folksy.
I was going to say, he is a very, magic black character. Like a magical black man. And it just is sort of I think it's part of the problem.
I want to be on this show's side, but the fact that they have misused so many opportunities.
So many different people of color in their show. I 100% agree. And I think that that's a huge part of the problem that we are in the present day seeing with specifically Vanessa Morgan and the Pussycats and stuff.
Well, and furthermore, I would say we're in the process of understanding what all that means. Because we've heard the talking points, but it's we're actually in the thick of it, trying to be Because like I said, he's a presence. He's getting his paychecks. But it's not, a concept. It's not a person.
Right. He doesn't have a character. He's always just either a jolly man in the background
and very gracious,
or a sad man that they have to help. And so and then these white kids come and help fix his life, and it's very touchy
by lying to and manipulating the Pussycats.
Yeah.
And it's okay, fine. Josie's kind of a bitch. I don't really love the way that she's characterized at this point, but still, Betty straight uses her and tells Twitter that they're putting on a free concert. And it's I agree that they should have done it, and I like the scene that comes, but they've already established what the brand means to Josie.
Yeah.
That to have Betty do that is really shitty.
To have Betty do that, and then for Cheryl to insist herself into joining the Pussycats because Val's voice is off. And whatever.
Well, yeah, yeah, it's not great.
It's not good optics.
So to pivot into how great the song was, because they sing a doo-wop cover of Milkshake on top of the diner, and that's the thing they do a couple of times on the show, and it's magical every time. I love it so much.
Yeah.
But because this is the song that that almost fucked my Spotify stats.
Oh.
Because
Did you leave it running by accident?
Well, not by accident, but I had listened to it too many times that when if you do one of those Coachella, who's playing your festival, it was the cast of Riverdale was too far up into my list, and I was I can't share this on social media. So now whenever I listen to Riverdale, or God forbid Glee, I mean those days are behind me, but I always have to go on private so it won't get into my algorithm.
Look, Glee the show was terrible. Glee the songs were good. What?
They were adequate.
I thought a lot of times
they were competent. Good. They were well made covers.
Well,
karaoke versions.
I liked them. I liked a lot of them, but I don't still listen to them.
So yeah, but that one in particular, I have listened to a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
So then we have FP's plot. It kind of feels we have to cover it, but it also kind of feels for nothing.
It just is I forgot how long he was in jail.
Yeah. They were trying to get him on too much, and they were trying to actually send him to jail.
Yeah, at one point Jughead was my dad's facing 20 years in prison, and I was as if Skeet Ulrich is not going to keep being on this show.
Well, and so then Betty blackmails Cheryl into...
This is rare form for Betty.
Well, she continues down this path.
She does.
But
At this point, it's rare for him.
Yeah.
She's never done anything like this up to this point.
yeah, so she blackmails Cheryl into testifying for them. We get the introduction of Thistle House,
Yeah.
which I'm hard pressed to say I like it better than Thornhill, but I think I do.
Well, we also don't get Thornhill back.
Like we get a facade once or twice. It's like the Hale House in
Yeah.
season 2 of Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
But because she has the pool party in season 3.
Yeah, but it's like still in the ruins of
Yeah.
fucking Thornhill.
But it's Thistle House. There's something about it that's just. Well.
Yeah. It feels perfect for Cheryl.
And so she is there currently with Penelope, and Penelope is like full-blown Norma Desmond, like just like draped over a chaise with her burns
She also,
and stuff.
Betty kind of has to blackmail her because they both are like, FP is the last loose end in the murder of our brother, and the rest of us all are like, but your dad killed him. FP has so little to do with it.
Cheryl begs to be manipulated. Like
That's true.
she plays the games.
But
And-
my biggest issue was with Penelope because she just like for almost no reason is like, I'd like to watch FP fry. I was like,
This is misplaced aggression on your part.
way
I think you're
misplaced.
grasping for control.
Yeah.
And, this is where we go whole hog with the color blocking too, with the like neon lighting and stuff.
It's really
From
good.
here on out, this is visually Riverdale.
Yeah, especially when they're in pops, the like bright pink neon.
Because I think they finally have moved the location because there's no longer a train behind it.
Yeah.
So I think they physically moved locations.
okay.
And this is where we technically we met new Reggie last week, but this is where he gets some material where he
Get some material.
he comes so hard onto Archie.
You look like my nuts after football practice. That'll keep you up for days in more ways than one.
And he's like weirdly trying to pump Archie up in more ways than one, if you catch my drift. And it's like Archie's just kind of like, what is happening? And then he smacks him on the ass. And it's like, do you remember that?
Yeah,
it was very like,
Oh my.
and so we get the introduction of Jingle Jangle as a concept, and as an execution, as an act.
You take it like pixie.
It's like a pixie stick. It's a fake drug that exists somewhere between Molly and
like
meth.
But you have to.
But it's like depending on who's using it, the severity of it alters. Like if it's the kids, they use it like it's just like a mild upper.
Sure.
But then
that
there's
makes
like
them immediately want to have sex in a car.
well, Molly.
Well.
Yeah. Which also, it was too late to be doing those kinds of hard drugs on a school night, but that's beside the point.
Especially if it has the come down.
Yeah.
Molly.
But Molly doesn't have too bad of a come down. That's more E. But yeah, it just like it. It's just very nebulous because there's also serpents that are doing it, and it's like fucking heroin when we get to them.
When the serpents are doing it, it's like a mix of heroin and meth.
Yeah.
But whenever the kids are doing
Crocodile.
it, it's a crocodile.
Do you remember that?
Yes. But one of my work friends talks about crocodile all the time.
Oh, really?
He makes jokes about it all the time.
I thought that was an anomaly for me, but so we also get Midge Clump.
Is there an F on there?
I thought there was. I thought that's what they said. Is it just Clump?
I think it's just Clump.
Oh.
He calls her the Clumpster at one point, which is so bad. Yeah, Clump.
Okay, Midge Clump.
Yeah.
And
It's not better, but
she's fine. She's fine. She's shot in the face.
she's immediately shot in the face. Her and Moose.
Her and Moose get shot point blank.
Like,
Twice each, like
and
4
they're like
times.
at lookout point or whatever,
Yeah.
so they're far away from like I don't know how they get found or because they spoiler alert
they survive. But I remember being shocked.
Yeah.
Because that was
Especially
like the
about
third
Moose.
shocking ending.
Yeah. But especially about Moose because we had come to know Moose.
Well, and it felt so unceremonious. Like
Yeah.
it was like he, in my opinion, I mean, even though Kevin has already had another boyfriend in Joaquin, it feels unfinished.
Yeah.
Like it feels unsaid.
For sure.
But spoiler alert, he survives. And although is only marginally on the show
Yeah,
still. But I don't remember why I wrote this down, but I did just write down acting talent. That's one of our code words for when we think people are extra. They're going too hard with.
Yeah, I don't know. At that point in the thing, I'm not sure. Was it Reggie?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Oh, yeah, I said these children are taking way too much onto themselves. Like, they're taking way too much, like, internalizing too much of what's happening.
Especially Archie. Like so...
But even Betty,
Archie.
I mean...
But yeah, even Betty, for sure. I mean, Betty wants to help her boyfriend's dad, and Betty doesn't want this place that's been a staple of her life to go away, so she's doing, like, what she can, I guess, but she's also trying to do too many things. And, like, I'm surprised that Betty never got a pill addiction, to be honest.
Does she not?
Does she?
No.
I don't
No,
think so.
okay.
I was like an Adderall addiction.
Yeah, I was like, that feels like a rite of passage
like
for
a Jesse
her.
Spano type of thing.
So we also, I think technically we met Tallboy at the end of last season, but this is the first time that they were like talking about him by name, and he brings up why he sends Jughead to Penny Peabody.
I know.
I'll never know. Strap in. She's on the show.
Yeah.
I forgot she was a lawyer.
Yeah.
It makes...
Because they need her again
yeah,
later.
it makes more sense, but she's a snake charmer. And she's...
I thought you liked her.
She's okay. Well, I think she's funny.
Oh, okay.
She's one of those, like, so... like,
her.
she falls into Kate Argent, where it's, like, it's so awful that I find it comical.
Okay, I can see that.
Because she keeps showing up on the
Really
show.
does, in a way that is, like, not for me.
And this is also, I don't think it's the first time we see him, but it's the first time a to-do was made over the creepy corner that Alice has connections with. Alice, on the other hand, was in rare form on this episode. She is in peak, like nosy neighbor Gladys in this, and she comes to Pops to just gloat. Although we do, because they beseech her in the beginning, and she does help
a little.
Archie.
Yeah.
But then she comes to Pops to just gloat over Becky, and then she is just, like, collecting nothing but receipts the whole time. And she tells Betty off.
Photos like this. She's, like, holding her phone, and she's like, yeah. Not great. Not great.
She tells Betty off at the end of the episode, and we're supposed to be on Betty's side, and we're supposed to not like her, but this is the beginning of my, like, truth and nothing but the truth. I'm like...
Watching it again, it is... Betty may have done a wrong thing.
Well, everybody, like, all the kids watching this are all like, Buckhead and Varchie, and I'm like, you go, Alice Cooper, you tell those punk-ass kids off. Like, you put them in their places. That is the end of my notes. Is there anything else?
Archie got a gun from Dilton Doily.
From Dilton Doily, because Reggie decided to play a prank on him by dressing up as the criminal who almost murdered his dad and surprising him with drugs in the middle of the night.
Look, Reggie...
And had the audacity to be incredulous.
Yeah.
Archie accepted the challenge. Like,
Reggie is nothing if not one of the dumber characters on this show.
We did get one of my favorite Cheryl aphorisms, or is that what you would call it?
Just the thing she says?
Yeah. It's when Jughead and Betty show up to Thistle House, and she just opens the door and says,
Hobo. Bride of Hobo. Welcome to Thistle House.
She does it a couple of times.
It's pretty good. So
that's pretty much it, though.
Yeah. So that was episode 2. That was
that one was jam packed in a way I did not remember. But all right.
So okay.
Bye.